But first, your Nissan Play of the Day, and this is a special one for me, as today is my son's first birthday. On September 25th, 2019, at 8:02 a.m., Tucker Jackson Robertson was born. Aww. And he has turned our world upside down ever since, but in a good way. He likes sports, Sesame Street, Daniel Tiger, ribs, chicken, veggie straws. And most recently, he took his first steps. And if we look, is there any resemblance?
Don't see it.
Wow. No resemblance?
Yes, we see it.
Oh my goodness.
Just a small one.
Happy birthday, Tucker.
And can he announce yet? Has he tried to?
He's trying.
All right.
He's trying to.
Aww.
Breaking news concerning the NCAA tournament next week. USA Today reports all men and women's games next week will be played at the scheduled venues without any fans inside due to the coronavirus. Only essential staff and immediate family will be allowed inside to watch the games. We just received that news a little over an hour ago here at the Greensboro Coliseum. Now we're going to talk about some news on the court, and we start with the VCU Rams in the Atlantic 10 tournament up in Brooklyn, and we go to Lancaster Dante with that. The Virginia Cavaliers finished the regular season with 8 straight wins and claimed the #2 seed in this year's tournament. They will play the winner of the Notre Dame-Boston College contest Thursday night in the quarterfinals. That game will start at the top of the hour. The Cavaliers turned their season around from late January, from possibly not even making the NCAA tournament to being a strong contender to win this year's ACC tournament. Several players on this year's team experienced the national title run last season, and according to head coach Tony Bennett, it can be beneficial as they go for their second ACC title in 3 years.
But from last year's experiences, absolutely you learn from how you approach it, your mindset, how you practice. And then the guys that do have the experiences from last year will be valuable, but I don't think you make too much of it.
Virginia Tech's run in the tournament ended last night in the first round as they fell to North Carolina 78-56. Garrison Brooks led 4 Tar Heels in double figures with 20 points. Former Trinity standout Armando Bacot had a double-double, 12 points and 11 rebounds for UNC. Hunter Couture led the Hokies in scoring with 14 points. We'll have much more from both the A-10 tournament in Brooklyn and here in Greensboro with the ACC tournament tonight at 11. The News is 6 back in Richmond continues right after this.
Man, what a day. What a day. This started out on Monday with a small idea, and we expanded. We talked to about 3 or 4 coaches.
Arthur Ashe being here was significant. Being in front of this was significant. He is a son of this Commonwealth, and I just thought it was meaningful that we talk about social injustice with the backdrop being Arthur Ashe.
Like we said, Sean, just now, it's a wealth of coaches out here representing their schools, but also here for the cause. It's here to fight racism and inequality.
I'm a white college basketball coach for the last 24 years. I've prided myself on taking care of my players, loving them, mentoring them, pushing them. Many of them African Americans. I've failed them, and I've failed many of you. I gotta do better. I gotta do better. I hear you. I'm listening to you. I hear my players. I'm listening to my players.
When you hear, Mike Rhoades, a white man, talk about racism and things needing to change, that's powerful. That's somebody that people look up to, and the kids will look up to.
But I'm going to challenge all of us to hold each other accountable, like Dale said, but also those that are in power, those politicians. And I know we got one out here in Justin Fairfax, but we got to vote. And if people don't have our interests in mind, we vote them out.
We want to build people and communities up and not tear people and communities down. And these coaches and the teachers and staffs and parents and young people have come together and said that we are going to step into that first year, the next 400 years, in a very different way.
You are all here because you are listening to the voices and the cries of the black community. To be successful as a leader and be successful in anything in life, you have to listen. We have to listen to our black community who's screaming out right now. Our country does, our community does. We also have to listen to our young people.
We're going to be doing stuff throughout the year, gathering all our teams together on leadership, accountability, financial literacy, how to interact with people in authority. So we're looking forward to a great turnout moving forward.
The protest started at the Arthur Ashe statue. Then the coaches walked almost a mile and a half to the Robert E. Lee statue where it ended. Everyone we spoke to said this was not a one-time thing, that there will be weekly communication amongst the coaches and with players at their respective schools. Before the event, Coach Watts from Armstrong said if at least 25 coaches from the area showed up, they viewed it as a success. At last count, over 100 schools from all levels across the state were represented at today's protests. We begin this evening with college hoops. Asia Todd joins a long list of players that have entered the NCAA transfer portal. But it's why Todd left Liberty that has gained national attention.
Asia Todd has it, little spin move.
Asia Todd has never shied away from speaking her mind.
My parents really had to cultivate me to learn how to express those things, doing it in the right way.
No matter how controversial the issue is.
I know there's always going to be problems everywhere. And racism is just not one of those things that I can tolerate.
Nearly a week ago, in a 71-second video posted on social media, Asia announced she was transferring after her freshman year at Liberty. Not because of on-the-court issues, but because of actions by school president Jerry Falwell, Jr.
Due to the racial insensitivities shown within the leadership and culture, it simply does not align with my moral compass or personal convictions.
I didn't plan to go to Liberty to transfer after 1 year. I like stability. And as a student athlete, I want to feel valued and feel like I belong in the system, outside of the system. And that's why I feel like that was the best decision for me.
Asia's former teammates and coaches didn't want her to leave, but understood this was bigger than any basketball.
They really wanted to see me blossom all 4 years and that they wanted to be a part of that growth and development, not just on the court, but off the court.
While her 1 year at Liberty was mostly positive, it was a tweet by Falwell directed at Virginia Governor Ralph Northam, which contributed to her departure from the school.
Definitely what transpired about 2 weeks ago from the leader, it definitely was like, okay, this is it. Enough is enough.
And as Asia prepares to choose her next school, she hopes this experience gives people more strength to speak out on racial injustice.
I just want the video, not even just the video, but my story and the reasons why, just to encourage people to just break that code of silence. And I just want this to show people that's in leadership to be held to a higher standard and to exemplify racial unity and not racial insensitivity.
Now, we reached out to Liberty's athletic department for a comment on Asia's decision. The school said in part, quote, per NCAA rules, our coaches and administrators are prohibited from speaking about recruitable student athletes and are unable to comment on Asia Todd's social media announcement. To see the full interview, visit our website at WTVR.com/sports. That's the latest from the CBS 6 Sports Desk. For one championship coach, he's experienced both the highs and lows of this championship from a unique view.
I tell you, these Aussies are good from the bunkers.
The U.S. Open, one of the 4 majors in professional golf.
Tiger Woods perseveres through Torrey Pines and wins a 3rd U.S. Open.
Golf fans have seen some legendary moments at the U.S. Open over the last 2 decades, most of them on TV.
Tee shot first.
Lee Coble has seen them in person.
99 was my first actual working one of the USGA events at Pinehurst, was when Payne Stewart won the U.S. Open.
Payne Stewart is the 1999 U.S. Open champion. Oh, my.
Lee was there for Phil Mickelson's epic collapse in 2006.
Way left, way left.
At Wingfoot.
I was with him on Friday as well, and he hit that same shot. So coming to 18 on Sunday.
For the hospitality tent.
Bones gives him the driver. And I'm saying to myself, no.
And witness Tiger Woods' 2008 playoff victory at Torrey Pines.
Expect anything
on a fractured leg.
I heard the snap of his knee during that tournament.
Oh my God, this is...
And again, he went on to win.
Coble lives for golf.
It's about relationships. It's about, well, first of all, it's a game of integrity.
Coble is the current head golf coach at Virginia Union, but his memories of the U.S. Open have come as a member of the USGA TV Rules Escort Committee.
our responsibility was to work with the TV crew to get them to the golf course, get them where they need to be, to get the pictures they need to get, to make sure that they were not impeded by the galleries.
Coble doesn't miss the U.S. Open.
This would have been my 21st U.S. Open.
He's on quite a streak.
So from 1999 up to 2019, I've worked every U.S. Open tournament.
But thanks to COVID-19, Coble's streak of working the U.S. Open has come to an end.
At first, I was a little disappointed, but also I quickly understood that the USGA made the right decision. So I applaud them for being able to make that decision and not cancel the Open, but to do it at a later date. That's a new ball, I'm going to get it.
The North Carolina native's love of the game stretches back decades.
At a tender age of 9 or 10 years old, I was a caddy. And from that day forward, I fell in love with the game of golf. Yes, sir.
At a time when people who looked like him weren't welcome to play at the same golf courses.
As a caddy in North Carolina, started caddying, and I couldn't play on the golf course. So therefore, we played when everybody else left. We played on our way home. And we had a certain number of holes we played. We played number 1 hole, number 2, number 3. And sometimes we get brave and come back and play number 4, which could be seen from the pro shop.
But one moment while in high school almost ended Coble's love of the sport.
So I go to the golf coach and I say, I want to play golf. He said, Coble, you can't play golf. I said, why not? He just said, you can't play. So one day, on my way to soccer practice, I asked, do you have a 7-iron? He said, yes. Let me hit it. I absolutely hit it. I crunched it. And he said, come on. I said, no, I'm going to do soccer. That was my ego that jumped in.
Coble later found out the golf coach actually helped him from the harsh reality of racism.
Because this is 1966, 67, where they were playing. I would not be allowed to play some of those private clubs where they had their events. So again, not being able to play was still a motivation to continue to play.
Those experiences Coble used as a source of inspiration.
Hold your head, ball.
When he became the first black president of the Virginia State Golf Association in 2012.
I had a chance to put my footprint on the game of golf, to get more folks like me playing the game of golf, to bring more folks to the board like me to the VSGA. This is recognition from the African American Golf Digest.
Okay.
In 2013.
And while Coble won't be at Wingfoot for this year's U.S. Open, he's already looking ahead to the 2021 Open when it returns to Torrey Pines to begin his new streak.
So it would have been number 21, but hopefully in 2021, it'll be 21.
One of the perks for Coble as a member of the USGA TV Rules Escort Committee is having the opportunity to play the course on the same layout the Monday after the U.S. Open. He told me his best round ever was in 2005 when he shot a 77 at the Shinnecock West course in New York. His score was better than 40 of the 64 golfers who played in the final round that year.